Okay, I have blocked in my dialogue poses, and now I'm going to move on to refining. But first, I'm actually going to copy my first frame into a new layer that I created called ref, which is short for reference. So hold down Option, drag the frame into the next layer that copies a frame, Option, and click drag the frame. Then I'm going to turn it into a guide layer, which I just did, set it to outline, and lock it off. And now that frame will always be visible underneath what I'm doing before I even add in-betweens and mouth shapes, refining my animation. I'm going to go through to each pose and, get it the right size, make sure it's true to the first frame, which I'm using as my model. So, like, the head is looking a little small. Like, the character's, size changes, about 10 times in this thing. So I'm just, using a lasso tool. Sometimes I only want to enlarge the head, make the head the right size. And notice that I have my reference layer locked off, so I don't accidentally select and do something to my reference layer, which in Adobe Animate, unlike Photoshop, even if you're working on a different layer, you can still select items in the layer underneath accidentally. And so in this case, I'm just erasing and refining. I'm making the body shape just a little more solid. Don't forget about solid drawing. And then in this case, the whole character is tiny, so I'm just going to select all the contents of the frame, select the whole figure, and then just size them up and resize. Sometimes I have to reposition if I size them up. And then again, I'm refining, making the body shape a little better. I'm actually going to go back and clean this up further, but resizing this guy, repositioning. I'm also going back and resizing the potato he's holding, but I'm not worrying about the spring. I'm resizing the potato, the rough shape, but I'm not worrying about the spring, because the spring that's hanging off the potato, or whatever it is going to have secondary movement of its own. So I'm going to, when I'm done with all of the animation, I'm going to add its own independent movement. I'm going to work on the spring later, as the spring has its own secondary action and movement. So when you have items like hair, clothing, or in my case, a spring, you can finish all your animation and then just go frame by frame straight ahead. Animate those items later, adding your follow through and secondary action. So we're going to do that. And I'm mostly worrying about tweaking the pose, but I am also working with the mouth shape just a little, but I'm not worrying about it too much. And I'm doing stuff. I had to resize him, so I kind of tweaked his arm, moved his arm up so it's not cut off at the bottom. And as I refine, I'm adding keyframes as well. So in this case, I'm going to have fun and add like a little head shake. It's not going to be perfect, but just having fun. You don't have to add frames and extra head shakes. You could do that later, but I just decided to. In this case, I just decided to. Does anyone remember how this thing works? Well, I don't, I think.